We always say this.
I don't know.
Here we are.
Here we are.
We just found ourselves here again.
We don't ever have a plan to start this other than we just sort of look at each other and laugh and go, well, okay, I guess we'll just start talking. It's fine.
How are you, Michael?
How am I?
A little physically tired.
I am, but as I confessed to you a few minutes ago, I think it's because I've had way too much caffeine today already, and I think I've been consistently consuming a lot more caffeine than I really need to. So I am going to slow that down, but I'm tired. I woke up a little earlier than normal this morning to get two of my kids to my mom super early, and then I met a friend for coffee. Then I got a haircut, and then I came here, and the
whole school rhythm always messes me up. So
you
got to give yourself some grace there.
Yeah. It's the transition between when it starts, because my youngest already started preschool, so my wife took her after I left, but. It's like my other two older ones don't start until next Wednesday, I believe.
Oh, I forgot your school system's different than my children's.
Yeah. Which is fine.
What a horrible assumption I have made. Inconsiderate.
It's fine. I am excited for them to get back into school because it helps me balance my schedule a little more easily.
Same.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, speaking of caring for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm good. This was a good week. My children did start back to school this week. That hasn't fully messed with my rhythm yet. I don't know. I just had some good times of slowing down a bit before my kids jumped back into school on Thursday. And then, I don't know. I've just been appreciating some goodness both in my family and gratitude there, but also just with some amazing people I get to do work with, like yourself.
Well, let's share a client win from this week.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, this win is actually not, I take zero credit for it, but I'm excited that it is a win in my client's life.
Yeah.
And that is starting medication.
Okay.
Because I think there's all sorts of stigmas with that, especially in Christian circles. And for this particular client, this was an active step of caring for self and things going on in his body. I was like, hey, man, I'm proud of you. And I feel good about it because he's not looking to it to be his ultimate solution, but as a way to enhance his steps towards health.
Yeah, a temporary way to create some space so that he can take the next step. Yeah, love it.
I've already told you about my tugboat analogy, right? With medication.
Oh, yeah.
So he got the tugboat going.
Love it.
But it's and now he's been on it for a couple weeks and he's already seeing the benefits, which is tough. I get that. So what was your client win?
Yeah, there were a couple. One that's coming to mind is a guy I worked with better part of a year, and we've progressed quite a bit. And I've been great. I was really satisfied with his progress, and I think he has been too. But some of the wins from this week is that he did the hard work early on of really latching onto this idea of building a community around you, so that if like person 1, 2, and 3 fall through, that he's got a 4th, 5th, and 6th, and that really came into play for him. We met this week. We talked through it, and he was like, "Yeah, this all fell through," and I was like really at the end of my rope because I've got a person in behind those that they're not my first choice to call, but I got to a place and I was having this mental argument like I didn't want to call him, but I should. I didn't want to, but I need to, and then he did. It ended up being this really fruitful thing, and he got more from this person than he like actually expected or thought that they were capable of providing to him in that moment. He's like, I think they're like my top 1 or 2 people now.
See,
I was like, boom, that's it.
No joke. The last session I had this morning, it was completely on that.
Yeah? See, that's it, man.
Guys need relationships. That's it's going to be a series because I want to slow it down at some point.
Guys need relationships. Would you say relate your way out of porn?
Ooh. I'll have to think about that one.
Okay. Okay.
But I like the
Just
initial
spitballing
sound
here.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in line with finding your reason of why there's a better way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. Well,
Client wins. Cool.
welcome to the podcast, whether you're listening or viewing it on I guess, is YouTube the only viewing format right now?
You can catch the full thing on YouTube. You can catch blips of it on our
media.
Our Instagram accounts. Yep, social media. Yeah. This is episode 13.
Whoa.
We've been at it. I was listening to some statistics earlier in the week that was like, if you produce 3 podcasts, you've already made it further than like 80% of people who ever decide to do podcasts. And if you make it to 10 episodes, you're in the top 1% of people who have ever produced a podcast ever.
Wow.
And I know it's sort of like a relatively new media comparatively. But yeah, dude. And there's something about getting to 20 or 21 episodes where it's like you've got this locked in. So I don't know about you. I feel like a lot of really good energy about this. Like I'm having fun. This doesn't feel like taxing. I've had to struggle my way through figuring out how to edit things. So thank you for
bright spot in
being
my
a part of
week.
that journey.
And if our listeners and viewers could see how much we talk about ideas outside, they would know we have a lot of energy for the days to come in terms of content, but also some guests that we'd like to have on. And
yeah, man.
So we're excited about the road ahead and not just grudging through the present.
Yeah,
it's only going to get so horrible. But no, we generally enjoy it, and we have great vision for what we'd like to do in the days to come.
Yeah, and I'm excited to get there. For today, though,
heavy topic today.
Yeah, but it's necessary.
Yeah, I am excited to talk about it because of how little it's talked about, and also we'll get to this in a second. How instrumental it was in my own recovery journey, not only realizing it, but addressing it. But we're talking about this idea of self-hatred.
Yeah.
Or if that seems too strong, maybe self-contempt.
Yeah.
Is an idea.
Yeah.
Michael, why are we talking about this?
Yeah. Well, if you've ever dealt with pornography in any significant way over your life, what it inevitably invites is this thing called toxic shame. Yes. And we've talked about this on earlier episodes, so if you want to go back and listen to that, I think that could be helpful. It is helpful.
Can we recap real quick?
Yeah, do it. What do you got?
One differentiation, because I know sometimes it feels similar in your body, is the difference between guilt and shame.
Yeah.
Shame is our heart saying, there's something wrong with me. And then guilt would be, there's something wrong with what I've done, my actions. So one's more identity, one's more evaluation of actions. So it's good to differentiate that between the two. And yes, they are related. The other thing that we often talk about in our emotion conversations is any emotion is neutral. So shame is, again, this realization, let me expand on it. Maybe something's wrong with me, but it's also an awareness, a simple awareness of our limitations. It's also an awareness of maybe wounds or limits.
Yep.
I can't do this, so I feel shame. And again, as Christians, it is the gift of I am aware that I have sin in me.
Yeah.
And that's very important to be aware of that. Also, last thing, and I'll say, and I'll throw it back to you. I'm passionate about this. And I know you agree with me here. But I understand a lot in Christian circles that we almost want to get rid of shame. Like shame is always bad. And I think there's good intentions for that. But so what we differentiate is there's a difference between shame and toxic shame.
Yeah.
There's a difference between an awareness of my limitations, my brokenness, my sin, and then what I do with that in my identity. And then, as we're about to talk about, how I view relationships, how I view myself.
Yep.
We would separate those two spaces as shame, as a neutral thing, but then toxic shame as an impairment.
Yes.
As a very destructive offshoot of that neutral emotion. Okay. Yeah. I'm off my rant.
No, that's great. That's not a rant. That's helpful definition. I think that's important. I have a hard time sometimes. I catch myself mid-thought and I start talking and I miss a lot of the foundational stuff. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that.
I'm raising my hand. I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay. So
hey, we do addictive groups, Michael. So
this is true.
I'm derailing you.
No, this is fine. It's great. I need a good derailment every now and then. Yeah. So the idea of self-hatred or self-contempt is because if you've been at this porn thing for a while, you've probably felt that. Because the way that shame, or typically we encounter our shame, especially in a porn addiction, is toxic shame. It's, I didn't just do a bad thing, it's I am bad. Yeah. And depending on some of the messaging maybe you got growing up, depending on your church tradition, you could have gotten some messages that affirmed that. Like, you are a worthless worm, you're a piece of crap apart from God, which I get the sentiment, but like the language is not necessarily helpful in that, because of like the damage that it can do to, it's not always helpful. So yeah, apart from Christ, like we have nothing. We need Christ for everything. Like we find our worth, our value, our identity. Like all those things are true, but there's a limit to which I think we're supposed to experience that. And where I want to take us is in Genesis chapter 3. After Adam and Eve take the fruit and they sin and they hide from God, there's this beautiful moment where God comes looking for them, and his question isn't, "What did you do?" Right, which could come off as an accusation. It's, "Where are you?"
Yes,
it's a very compassionate, relationally driven question. It's not, "What did you do, you dirtbag?" It's, "Where are you, my children? Where are you?"
Yeah.
Your presence is far from me. You've hidden. There's something between us now. Yeah. And there's this beautiful thing that happens right after that where God calls them out. And yes, there are consequences to the sin, but God does this thing where he clothes them. They tried to clothe themselves, didn't work. God clothes them in a better way. And this is healthy shame in action, that they accepted that gift from God. Yeah. Rather than saying,
right,
"We already made these fig leaves, suck it, these are good enough."
Right.
They didn't do that.
Which, here's my Bible teacher, pastor, theologian, all the above coming out. What a foreshadowing of Jesus, right? So like, their shame was addressed by the sacrifice of another. And they were clothed with that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus in righteousness.
Right.
So, man, that makes me so excited to say what you just said. We need to acknowledge that shame, but go to God in our need. Mm-hmm. And he has the solution. And I don't even see it as a solution. He meets the needs of our shame.
Yes.
And clothes us with something way better than we could clothe ourselves with. We don't hide ourselves with fig leaves today, but we do a lot of functional hiding with aspects of ourself. And I don't want to totally derail this down that yet, but speaking of Genesis chapter 3, how I look at that passage, there are 3 really powerful emotions that show up for Adam and Eve, and we quickly point to fear, guilt, and shame, right?
Yeah.
To me, the first and strongest emotion that Adam and Eve felt was shame, and I get that from as God pursues them and says, "Where are you?" Adam's response is, "Well, we hid because we were naked." So that's speaking to their view of self.
Yeah.
I'm insufficient. I'm vulnerable. I've become something that you said not to become. And I'm actually missing the wording too. He even says, I was afraid and I hid, therefore, because I was naked. So it's almost like fear was a secondary response to the realization of shame.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of guys too, they can resonate with that. We live a lot in fear, but it's actually an overflow of trying to deal with our shame in a really unhelpful way.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Do it.
How did you become aware of shame in your own journey with either struggling with pornography or as you were taking steps in recovery? When did your awareness of your own shame come online?
Oh man, I mean, I think it was always there. My awareness, I think, is a good word to use for it. I think I became more aware of the depth of it, I'll say, when I confessed all my junk to my wife. Yeah. Because then it was it was like this. We call it a disclosure of self, but it was this like I'm being laid bare, but I'm doing that on purpose. So there was an ownership of the shame that I experienced, and there was a laying down of the toxic part, the toxic pride that might come with that, or shamelessness.
Then here's even more specific question. How did you know it was toxic shame? Like the distorted version of it versus just the awareness of your brokenness.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying. I did have something in mind because I was thinking about talking about this week. This is the story that came to mind that I think that would be helpful to share. So after my initial confession, a pastor came over to our house and just sat with us and talked. And here's how toxic shame showed up for me in that moment.
Okay.
I said, I will resign my position from the church. I'll back out of the elder process that I was in at the time. You know, I'll stop all leadership stuff. I'll go into like exile. I'll take whatever punishment you want to give me. I'll live whatever defunct life that I have to live now in relationship to my wife and my kids and family and whatever. It's like, I get it. I'll take all of the crap that I know I deserve. Let me have it. Punish me.
That's it.
Is that familiar? Yeah. And so here's what I still in some ways try to wrap my mind around, like this beautiful thing that God gave me in that moment. Sorry. And I did not deserve it, but I'm so grateful for it, is that my pastor friend looked at me. I mean, he said a lot of encouraging things in the moment. He looked at me and he said, dude, you confess this. This isn't the end for you. This is the beginning. And I'm like, you know, I was weeping then, and I'm trying not to now. But he said, you don't have to back out of the elder process. You don't have to resign. He's like, you confess this. I can trust you. Yeah. He's like, we'll get you help. What do you need? And I'm like, I don't know what I need. He goes, okay, well, we're going to get you help. Yeah. We got you. And in that moment, like at my darkest, at my weakest, at my most toxic crap laden place where I was like, okay, life is over for me now. Give me what I got to take. I know what I did. I didn't get wrath. I didn't get punishment. I got the biggest dose of grace, and it's still overwhelming when I think about it.
Were you able to receive it in that moment?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Like I think I was suspicious of it.
Yeah.
Mistrustful of it, and as the days and weeks unfolded after that, like it was proven to me over and over again by my wife not leaving, by him backing up his word, still showing up, checking in. I mean, dude, here's where we're going this week. Here's what we need to talk through.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. You meant that. Great. And then I even had might be a side note. Like, I don't know if it was recent or at some point after that, my wife and I, you know, still sort of rehash or talking through things. And like, she very clearly told me that morning when I told her, like she said, she thought about getting up and walking out or leaving the house and just like doing something else, but she said very, very vividly, like the Holy Spirit said, don't leave, you stay here.
I think I remember her telling some
yeah,
story.
And like, ugh. Dude, there's a part of me like I don't know, like it's hard to fathom how to express gratitude for something like that.
Yeah. To
God and to her and to my pastor at that time, but it's like, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
I think you're hitting at the point. The only answer for shame is undeserved grace, right? Or just, I mean, grace is undeserving when it's really grace. But grace is almost this healing balm by which our shame can be met. Michael, thanks for just transparency.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And I love you. And I'm always blessed when we're able to share those spaces. As we're talking this through, I'm thinking about the guy who's listening right now, watching, and saying, man, I don't have self-contempt. I don't have self-hatred. AKA, I don't have toxic shame. I may feel bad about what I'm doing, but it's not that serious. And I would say what you just described are actually some of the maybe symptoms or some of the evidences of toxic shame in a person's life.
Yeah.
And one of them that you described is this idea of I need to be punished. I deserve to be hurt back. And we almost look for that. And when people don't do that, they're like, or we're responding to that, being like, well, they didn't take it seriously. Because I deserve to really be hurt. Like, do something to me bad because I deserve that.
Yeah.
If that's that drive, there's probably good chance you're wrestling with some toxic shame. The other thing that you talked about, and the reason why I ask were you able to receive it, is another evidence of toxic shame is the inability to receive grace and care from others. There's this pushback or denial that's like, yeah, they may say that they care about me and they've been a consistent friend, but man, if they really knew me, they would just abandon me. So I think we're probably just on a really pseudo relational sense. They don't actually know me. And I'm not going to take any of their words or actions super serious. Man, if that's the way we think, if we demean or if we try to just harden our heart to the way people either verbally or in their actions express their love for us, odds are we're probably dealing with some toxic shame.
Yeah.
Here's the last thing I'll say too. It's an exercise that I had to do in my recovery journey, and it was the eye-opening moment for me, for my own self-contempt. And it was actually my recovery group leader challenged each of us in our recovery group to sit in front of a mirror. Have you done this exercise?
No.
To talk to the man in the mirror. And basically what you have to look at yourself and verbally say what is normally an internal dialogue. And at first it was really difficult. I thought it was stupid. It was silly. It's like, whatever. It was just kind of awkward. And then when I really settled into it, I could not believe not just the negativity, but the aggressiveness towards myself. Of just like Nick, I at this time, I can't stand you. I'm embarrassed by you. Like, you are such a failure. Like, all these accusatory things, this kind of this despising of the man that I have to live with.
Yeah.
And again, in all reality, that was playing in the background all the time, and it was influencing the way I made decisions. It was influencing the way I received relationships. But until I could identify it, it kind of became just my blueprints for life. I know this conversation is heavy, but we want to encourage guys to say, man, it's so common. Like, actually, we expect it.
Yeah.
When we work with guys in recovery.
Yeah.
And it's also why we talk about with the noose, the knot of that whole dynamic is our relationship to shame.
Yep.
And it's often very toxic. Man, is there hope? Well, what do we do if we're suddenly aware of toxic shame being an active element in our journey?
Yeah. We got to move to the gift, right?
Yeah.
If the gift of shame is humility and accepting the love and grace and help from others, that's what we have to lean into. And oftentimes, we just talked about it. Like, there's this belief that we carry that if they knew this about me, they would reject me and prove all of the negative things I think about myself right.
Correct.
And that feels way too risky.
Yeah.
Because, the reality is, you know yourself better than anybody else does because you talk to yourself more than anybody else does. But people aren't in on that conversation a lot of times. And oftentimes they have an easier time seeing all the good in you that you refuse to see. So that when you can open up to somebody in that way and say, I need help. I got this going on. I'm a wreck. I don't know what to do. You'd be surprised. People have a lot more grace for you and mercy for you than you often believe they do.
Yeah. Yeah, so reviewing that or rewording that, you're saying, if I'm aware of my shame, even if it's at a toxic level, at any place, I can choose to see it as an invitation to embrace humility, or what we would say our need for others.
Yeah.
And I like this word, to embrace our humanity. I am not God.
Right.
I have limits. I have woundedness. I have a struggle with sin, and I need a savior.
Yeah.
That's part of my humanity. And it's part of the good news of the gospel. Man, I think about this too in my own journey. Part of the evidence of my own toxic shame was my unwillingness to do that, to be transparent and vulnerable in other relationships, and to then instead or double down into, well, this is the best I'm going to get in terms of intimacy and relational life. Like, I'm going to keep going back to porn.
Yeah.
I think Jay Stringer talks about this a little bit in his book too, when it's like, when we've settled into the idea that porn's just the best that we deserve. Again, it's reinforcing the idea that in and of itself is self-contempt.
Yeah.
To not believe, you know what? I can step forward in humility. I can rely on others. I deserve that. Like I have the right to be loved and to be held up by others, and especially to be held up by Jesus himself.
That's right.
Goodness, I often, sometimes the only way to get to that place is, it's like the parable of the prodigal son, parable of the two sons, whatever you want to call it. There's this moment where it says the younger son had to come to his senses. He had to realize his desperation state. But instead of doubling down into it, he had to say, I'm going to take that bold, courageous step to step forward towards relationship.
Yeah.
I don't deserve it, but I desperately need it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're inviting guys into, is to saying, man, I think whether it's happened in a very overwhelming way or maybe in subtle ways, I think there's moments where God in his grace allows you to come to your senses and being like, man, I'm eating out of a pigsty here and I want better.
Yeah.
But I need to humble myself. I need to embrace the fact that I'm a sinful human and I need a savior. And I can take steps forward and God will meet me. I don't have to earn my way back. He's going to run towards me in that moment.
Yeah.
Speaking of the same passage, sorry, I'm just ramping off this. I'm riding off my own caffeine this morning.
Okay.
It's interesting to note how Jesus describes in that parable that the father of these two sons, as he's running towards the younger son, he girds his loins, he's pulling up his robe so that he can run faster, which, if you understood culture at that time, would have been a very shameful thing for an elder or an older man, a mature man, to do, to expose his legs and to run. And the idea is the father did not care. He was willing to take on shame in order to reconcile with his son. And goodness, whoever's listening, the cross is God saying, I'm willing to take on that shame to run to you.
Yeah.
And I hope that can just plant even a seed of your heart to say, I want to take a step towards that, God. I want to take a step forward towards maybe embracing his design for my relationship with others, because I can get on board with stepping towards him if he's like that.
Yeah, that's the gospel. You can keep eating pig slop.
Yeah.
And tell yourself you deserve it. Or you can humble yourself and get up and go, man, my father cares a lot more about me than me staying and eating pig slop.
Yeah.
This came to mind a few minutes ago. There's a quote I feel like I've shared it with everybody so often. I heard it in a business podcast, but it stays with me, and it applies so much to what we're talking about.
Tony Robbins?
No. Though he's got some good ones.
Well, I have a Tony Robbins thought after this one.
Okay.
Please, I want you to.
This guy said, he said, what most people are looking for is a quick fix.
Yeah.
Which is what we're after when we try to overcome a pornography addiction. We're looking for a quick fix, the thing where we can hold on to our toxic shame and just get over it.
Yes.
But what we actually need is the courage to experience our shame in front of people whose opinions we care about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oftentimes we care about the opinion of our spouse, our family, of our friends, of God. And oftentimes we tell ourselves that, well, they'll reject me.
Yeah.
Rather than going, no, if these people genuinely care about me, then they can care about me and my crap.
Yeah. And goodness, we are not demeaning the fact that taking that step to do that, to willingly put myself in a place of shame with people I care about, their views I care about. Dang, that takes a lot.
Oh boy. Yeah. That's not easy.
Ton of courage. The risk there, we feel it. We still feel it in relationship. But what we're saying is, if the pain of staying in the pig slop is not greater than the idea of the pain of taking that risk, we'll keep settling for the slop and we'll stay in that zone, when in reality only one of those choices comes with a life-giving gift,
right,
of grace and support. My Tony Robbins idea, he talks about how when we get settled into in a mindset or in a place for a repeated long series of time, it can become what he calls an emotional home. You heard him talk about this. I think it's been written about other places. I don't know if it's original to him, but I think for some guys, just need to understand, I think we've been living in toxic shame long enough. It's kind of been like a home. It's what I'm used to. It's how I function. I've learned to do life with it. Yep. And in some ways it kind of motivates me because it makes me do certain things because I'm so hard on myself. But what we're saying is, man, to stay there is the death of your soul.
Yeah.
And I don't say that word lightly. I say that because the very things that God has set us up for from the beginning of creation, toxic shame is saying the very opposite. You are not cherished. You are not desired by God. You have no hope. It's breathing the exact lies, and that will consume a person's heart.
Yeah.
So we feel for guys, and we try to be as sensitive as possible that it may be their relational home, and to take some time to be like, oh crap, I've been living in this place for a long time. Like I didn't even realize it.
Yep.
So much to talk about here. If a guy is listening to this and saying, okay, Michael, if I'm going to take your word on this and bring this to someone whose opinion really matters to me and I'm scared, but I'm going to try this. What are some parameters? What are some points of advice that you would maybe give this person on how and when that should happen?
Yeah. I'll say a couple of things, but also you had a lot of good things to say about this last night. So I want to give you...
Remind me if I had something good.
Well, we talked about having a trustworthy person in your life.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a safe person that you can go to that you know has your back, that isn't going to be like, all right, well, you are a piece of crap, so get the heck out of my life. Yeah. So taking time to find that person, maybe you know who that person is, maybe you don't, but it's worth the effort to figure that out. And if you go, well, I don't really have any close friends, well, nobody's going to make close friends for you. You have to do the work of forging those relationships. And the reward of that is that you have those people who have your back. Like there's no shortcut to it.
Yeah.
So find that safe person. Another thing that we, some friends of ours always say, we trust people who do trustworthy things. So the evidence is there. Find somebody who's trustworthy. Yeah. And you know what that means. Like if you're friends with someone and they're always talking trash about other people behind their back, it's like, maybe they're not the person I go to. Yeah. Right? Find somebody that's trustworthy. That's step one. And then you share with them.
Yeah.
And don't just share like, this is what I try to tell people, like, if all we do is share the sinful parts of us with people, it's hard for them to get a full, complete picture of who we are outside of that sin. So if all you're telling the person is like, hey, I look at porn, hey, I look at porn, hey, I look at porn, well, they're probably just going to think that you're a crazy guy who just looks at porn all the time. Rather, if you, and this is why we talk about doing story work, if you tell them the broader story of how you became a you and how you got to this person, well, now they get to humanize you.
Yep.
And they don't just see you as the guy who's causing problems in their life right now. They get to see you as this complex, beautiful, broken person that you are. You came from here. You got here. Man, life was rough during the season, and then pornography showed up, and it took hold, and it's like, gosh, you didn't ask for it, but now you got it. And now, like, in adulthood, it's really wrecking some stuff for you. And if you just go, oh, well, hey, sorry, I looked at porn last week. I know it hurts, but get over it. I'm honest about it. Like, well, yeah, it's not going to go the way you want. But if you do the hard work of, sorry, I feel like I'm talking all over the place. The hard work is showing up consistently in relationship and being present and being vulnerable. Yeah. And that's not done over a coffee one time that you get to know somebody. It takes time. Yeah. And it takes consistency to show up and continue to tell your story to that person.
And what we're illustrating here is really two attitudes that are behind either doing this or not doing this. One is I could double down in mistrust, and I could say, I'm going to fend for myself. I'm staying in the pig slop. I'm not going to do that because it's too risky. But what Michael's describing here is the, yes, risky, but absolutely rewarding posture of trust.
Yep.
So it's saying, man, I'm going to show up to that first meeting. This person, they mean a lot to me, and I'm going to share some stuff with them. What if they run? What if they're going to judge me? All these what ifs, and I bet they're going to do this. And it's like, well, hold up. Can we just leave that to them? Can we just trust them and not try to control that narrative and answer the questions for them? Let's let them show up with their actions.
Yeah.
And they may even stumble, that friend may stumble into being a safe person, but and learning to embrace you where you're at, but let them do it.
Yeah.
Trust is the only posture that's going to lay a foundation for you to step forward into this. And the alternative is, again, mistrust is I'm going to just live in self-preservation and have my soul's life be sucked out. But, we know it's hard, but what I'm trying to emphasize is let's suspend all the what ifs and all the narratives that we've put in our mind of what the other's going to do.
Yeah.
And let's let their actions speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And usually we're pleasantly surprised
Yeah.
how well it goes.
Yeah.
With that momentum, and as we continue that rhythm, by the way, I wanted to just add this note, which we've talked about on previous episodes, but we generally would say, do not make your wife that first dump, that first place.
Yeah.
We are all about accurate, honest disclosure as soon as possible to a spouse. But because of the unique dynamics and how damaging it could be, Michael and I always say, let's find another friend, a guy, could be a family member, that will begin to hold that space with you, and do not put that all on your wife's shoulders and
Right.
just be like, hey, you figure that out, besides your own feelings of betrayal and hurt. That's not fair. That's not loving to them. So just wanted to lay that out there.
Yeah. That's good.
I heard a quote a long time ago. I forget what old theologian said this, but they said, the only work that we do in the gospel is, and I would use the word receiving. It could be also trusting. And that reminds me of this rhythm here, that if we take the risk to start building relationships, then the only work that really we need to do is to receive it.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And here's what I'm getting at is when we allow ourselves to receive the actions and the words of another safe person who is showing up for us, it speaks a better narrative over our shame. And obviously, hopefully that the most pivotal, the most primary relationship that we're receiving from is Jesus himself.
Yeah.
But maybe we don't have we're not ready for that yet. I want to hold space for that. But maybe could you at least receive the fact that, man, I have this friend, he's continually willing to show up. He's willing to listen to me, even when I keep checking in all this stuff. What I'd love to ask that person is, what might that say about you?
Right. Yeah.
Not just about the relationship, but what does that say over these messages of self-contempt, the accusatory things, the degrading things? Might it suggest something different
Yeah.
about who you are?
Yeah.
And what that person's giving you. And actually, I had another client today that we just talked about that, just being reflective of what are their relational experiences, what are they experiencing from, what does it say about them that these people would respond to you this way, would continue to show up for you this way. And man, I know that's the story of my life, having guys like Michael who continue to show up. And even when I couldn't necessarily receive like the words, like, I love you, I'm for Nick, their life proved it. And it rocked my shame bubble that I lived in, my toxic shame bubble. And be like, maybe Nick isn't complete worthless piece of crap. Maybe he is desirable at some level. And it started to break down some of those walls. And it's slow.
Yeah.
We don't say that this just happens overnight. So thanks. Yeah, thanks for just fleshing what that might look like into a reality.
Yeah. this idea is becoming clear as you were talking. Maybe evidence of self-contempt is isolation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking around and you're going, man, I don't have a close friend who is that, maybe the evidence of that, or maybe the outworking of that is the fact that you do have a strong sense of self-contempt, and you're carrying a whole lot of toxic shame.
Yeah.
And what we always want to remind people of is that you're not alone. If you don't have that person, that's okay. And now that you're aware of it, like, we got to do something about that. So, like, take action. Don't wait. Like, do that right now. That's what I try to remind people. Like, if you're listening to one of our podcasts or you're doing something, interacting with the stuff we're talking about, if you just close this out and go on about your day, like, nothing will change. You have to take action. You have to take action now and be decisive about it.
Yeah.
And to be clear, like, if you don't have that person, that's, again, okay. But, like, start somewhere. And, again, this is why Nick and I do this work, because we've been there, and now we're trying to do that for other guys. So if that's you and you're like, I don't have anybody, start with us. Mm-hmm. Go to the website, fill out a contact form. We would be honored to meet with you, talk to you, and hear your story, and help map out what that looks like to go forward and start the journey of recovery and healing. Yeah. I know we're getting close on time. I want to close or start wrapping up with this story that came to mind. And I think this goes in the far extreme of it, but the idea is, if we can't own our toxic shame, if we can't own the fact that we're isolating ourselves, we'll just never let people in. And when I lived in Vegas, I worked like downtown, and I would have like a good half an hour drive home. Most days I'd take surfer streets, and I'd get behind this champagne colored Mercury Sable, and it used to bug the crap out of me. The license plate was a custom license plate. There's so many custom license plates in Vegas, and it just said, "I'm sober." And I would remember I'd get behind that car, and on the way home I'd be like, "What an idiot! Like, what if you're not sober? Like, what if a cop sees that and goes, I'm just going to pull you over today and just breathalyze you just for the heck of it because you got that license plate?" Like, you're inviting this unnecessary, I don't know, like, oversight, or for people to look, pay attention to me.
Yeah.
I was an addict, but now I'm not. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I would say, like, wow, whoop-de-doo, that's what you should have been all along, is
right.
sober. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, though. Yeah.
And all the time it was really like stepping on something in me, and hindsight, I realized this, but this happened for months, for a long time, and he used to be like, "Oh, here's the I'm sober guy again. You get pulled over today, buddy. Hope you're sober. Hope you don't wreck into somebody." And then I'm at church one Sunday, and we're tearing down because we were mobile at this point, and I'm saying bye to some people, and one of my favorite people ever at our old church, his name was Stanley. He was an older guy. Had a rough life. I don't remember how he wound up in Vegas, but he was a card dealer at a casino for a long time, and apparently had a problem with alcohol. And but again, like, I only knew like the sweetest guy who was there before everybody got there, was there when everybody left, just a servant's heart, just doing all the things as much as he could. Always had a smile on his face. I followed him to the parking lot one day talking. He walked across the parking lot and got in a champagne-colored Mercury Sable. I was like, "What? Hold on a minute." And then he pulled around and left, and I saw his license plate. "Are you freaking kidding me? That's him? You're the I'm sober guy?" And then it like clicked with it, like it hit me in that moment. I'm like, "Oh, I get it," because that sin doesn't control you anymore. Yeah. And it's like, in that moment, I get it. Like, when you ditch the toxic shame and you can get into the healthy shame, and it says, "Yeah, I have limits. I'm not perfect. I need help." Then yeah, you can, I don't know, wear a T-shirt that says porn addict on it, or former porn addict or something on it, and like, who cares who knows? Yeah. Because Jesus killed that on the cross. Yeah. Like, it doesn't own us anymore. Like, we've been set free. So who cares what labels you throw on it? Like, if you're in Christ, you're in Christ. Like, your sin doesn't control you anymore. And the freedom, again, I think was instrumental in that moment. This is all like part of the story of like God building on me to like finally give this up. That was part of it. And I remember thinking, the cynical part of me was like, yeah, that must be nice.
Yeah. Love Tim Keller.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to change it into wording that I understand. He said the gospel basically says, I'm even more sinful than I ever feared, and I am far more loved than I ever hoped.
Yep.
It's both.
That's it.
And when those two come together, there's that freedom. Say, yeah, porn addict and deeply loved.
Yes. Yeah.
And I can bring it into that space, and that porn addict does not need to be my future, my identity. Man, I would have loved to meet Stanley.
Yeah.
And hear how he got to that point.
I mean, I wish I'd had more time with him. I haven't talked to him since we left Vegas.
Yeah.
When we left, I think he was he may have been the only guy, hand wrote me a note and mailed it to me at my new address.
Wow.
Just thanking me, just like, man, I'm going to miss you. Like, I appreciate your work here as a pastor, and it's been great. Like, God bless you and your future role. And I was like, man, that meant a lot. And for Stanley, it's like, yeah, whatever, write the guy a note. Probably didn't think much about it, but like, yeah, meant a lot to me.
Champagne colored.
Yeah. Champagne.
Well, especially in this episode, we want to end by saying,
Don't do this alone.
For real. And if there's a way that Michael and I can help you think that through, plan for that to be lifted up by relationship. Again, you can reach out to us through our website, rscky.com, or on social media. Probably the most common one that we engage with is Instagram.
Yep.
At Nick W. Buda. Nick W. Buda.
Yep.
And then you are at Michael Kamber.
Mike Kamber.
I'm sorry. At Mike.
It wasn't my choice. There's another Michael Kamber who I think is 2 years older than me who took up the Gmail addresses, all the social media handles. So I'm stuck with Mike.
Yeah. I had to do that with. Live will continue. At Mike Kamber.
At Mike Kamber.
At Nick W. Buda. Reach out to us.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Always.
Know that you're loved and you're worth it. And we will see you soon.
Catch you next week.